Hi there. I wanted to talk a little bit about grounding because it's one of the key ideas in my book, The Sleeping Tiger Revolution. And more specifically, I wanted to talk about how you find your grounding. So I want you to recall one of those days you've had, and we've all had them, where everything just goes really, really well. You have a really good attitude, you get into work, you sail through your to-do list, you connect with all the right people and have really positive relationships with people, you take decisions, you get on with stuff, and you go home with a real sense of achievement and well-being. Because that's you operating from your grounding point. And then a lot of stuff happens in the day and in life that pulls us away from our grounding. But it's always there. It's your default setting inside of you. My coach Joe Riggio says that when you're well grounded, you have the answer to any question before it ever gets asked of you. So what I hear in that is that I'm fully resourced, I'm present, I'm organised to my internal best, so I'm going to be the best me in that particular moment. So how do you find that grounding when you're not sure where it is? So I've worked with people for a lot of years now. I've sat in front of lots of business owners, lots of executives, and had these conversations. And I think there are a few pointers that I've learned to use. And the first one is that I know what your grounding looks like, and yet I don't really know what my own grounding looks like. So by way of example, I've done a stand-up comedy course recently, and I did my showcase gig, my first gig. And while I was doing it, I just thought, God, this sounds terrible. Oh, this isn't funny. Oh, I'm standing wrong. Oh, the mic's wrong. I filled my head with loads of stuff about it, so I didn't feel grounded at all. And yet people watching me said it was perfect. It was a really funny performance and I looked like an absolute natural. So you can't necessarily see your grounding, but I can, and vice versa. So part of it's about being able to work with people that are able to point you at your grounding specifically. And the second thing I notice with my clients is I'm good at understanding the role that thinking is playing in their experience in any particular moment. And I can hear when they start to place self-limits on themselves. So when they start saying things like, I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, I'm good at, I'm bad at, these kind of things. So I just get that they're getting an experience of life that is brought to them by their own thinking and not necessarily by what is actually true for them. And again, I just point them at the idea that their experience is coming from all of that stuff, and that stuff isn't necessarily true. And it's one of the reasons why I decided to create 6-month coaching programs rather than this kind of traditional model, which is to coach someone over a relationship of many years. Because what I've noticed is once people understand what their grounding feels like, and they understand how their thinking sort of throws them in the moment and takes them off beam, they start to self-correct much quicker. So, when you're not feeling like you're having a productive day and you're not grounded and you don't feel confident in yourself, you don't actually need to do anything once you understand that, well, the only reason I'm feeling like that is because my thinking is playing too big a role in what's going on for me and it's throwing me away from my grounding. And as soon as you see that, the system kind of has a habit of resetting itself. So the secret to really good performance is not trying to force yourself to have a positive mindset and force yourself to do affirmations every day and have goals. And, those things may all be very useful. But it's finding your grounding and recognizing in each moment of your working day where you are relative to your grounded self. Because as soon as you realize there's a gap, your internal neurology resets the system and you start to move back towards where you should be. So I hope that's been useful in terms of explaining it, and also explaining why having a coach and working with someone like me who can see that in you is a valuable tool. Have a brilliant week. Speak to you soon.